Well, hello there. My name is Cynthia Rowland,
And I'm Jackie Silver,
and together we are the Ageless
Ageless
Sisters.
Sisters.
It's always so nice to be with you, Jackie. Thank you
So,
so much.
so nice to be with you, and thank you. This is always such a pleasure when we get together.
I know. You know what? I was looking at our photos online when you go to my website, cynthiarowland.com for the Ageless Sisters. I always have my mouth open. So I've got to talk to these guys about getting a screenshot that it doesn't have my mouth like this or whatever.
It's good. It means you're just always talking and imparting important information.
Well, that's what I hope that people think about me for sure. Speaking of important information, I made an announcement on our weekly training show last Monday, a few days ago, that you had successfully survived Hurricane Irma.
Oh, yes.
What about it?
You know what? We're so blessed and we are so grateful because we did not suffer. It was a little scary, but we just had some yard debris and, our neighbors were all fine and all our friends were fine. A few people we knew have no power, but we didn't have that problem. And we're just so grateful. And we just feel so much for the poor people that really did suffer. And especially also in Houston, my sister's in Houston, and it was so horrible with Hurricane Harvey. We're just happy that this is past us and, helping people to repair their lives and move on.
Right. You remember our friend Noreen Young, who does the lips? She's always the girl about the lips from Florida. She just got power this morning. I just learned
Oh,
on
wow.
Facebook. So,
Oh, wow.
oh boy, that was a long time without it.
Well, I
Yes.
actually have
So
read that.
today,
Oh, I was just going to say, I read that some people aren't getting their power till tomorrow, and it is hot and humid here.
oh my goodness, I don't know how they do it without the power, the AC anyway.
Right.
So let's talk about your new project because you have really put yourself forward in a wonderful way regarding a guidebook, a beauty guidebook, the Diabetes Ultimate Beauty Guidebook. People don't know that you are a prolific writer, number one, and you have researched diabetes because not only your family has had some situations with diabetes, but you have a real heartfelt interest in this. So let's talk about your book and everything else.
Well, first of all, how I came to do this book was I read a shocking statistic from the Centers for Disease Control recently, and it said that 100 million adults in the US have diabetes or pre-diabetes. And I said, that is crazy. I got to do something to help these people, and actually we're all at risk with the way, people eat and all of the different reasons that cause diabetes. So I also have a friend who was diagnosed with diabetes in her 30s. And my husband, his mother had diabetes. His late brother had diabetes. My mother has diabetes. So it's just, if you don't have it, you know someone that has it.
Right. My dad had it. My grandfather had it. Just goes down the line.
It just does, So I wanted to write this book because the last thing people need to worry about when they already have to do their A1C blood checks and all of the diet changes and exercise, the last thing they want to worry about is their beauty routine or their fashion or anything that feels like extra that they don't have time for. So I wanted to write this little concise booklet that really puts together for people easy, simple ways that they can keep their good looks and also special things that go along with diabetes in itself. So there are issues that people have to deal with now that they didn't have to deal with before.
Right. Well, it's good that you have that in your heart to help people like that because it's important if you have that diagnosis or you have someone who has had that diagnosis that you give them the best up-to-date information that you could possibly hand them. Was doing some research on behalf of your book, not that it would be published or anything, but I came up with a few things that are like strength.
Wait, you said your book, not that it would be published, but you made your research, not that it would be.
Not yes, my research would not. Yes.
To
Well,
clarify.
sorry, that was my fault. But these are strange symptoms of diabetes because Jackie, sometimes people don't even know that they're walking around with this challenge. And one of the craziest things I found beyond frequent urination and extreme thirst was that your skin looks and feels weird.
Well, actually, I have read that your skin gets very dry, scaly, and you got to go, what can I do about this? You put moisturizer on and it doesn't really help because there's so many factors at work here.
Right. And another strange symptom I found was frequent yeast infections.
There you go. And we've been talking a lot about yeast because actually I'm in the middle of a candida cleanse because it's kind of a long story, but I'll tell it real quickly. We had a workman here at our house, and he saw one of my nails, and one of the symptoms of yeast is a funny looking nail or a fungus nail, which it wasn't fungus, but it was misshapen. And it's actually because I have a nervous habit that kind of changed the growth of my nail. But then he said in his Spanish, he doesn't speak English, I barely speak Spanish. Then he said, do I have stomach trouble? Well, I've had stomach trouble for 35 years, But then I didn't want to talk to him about this because this is a guy working at my house. But then I remembered after he left that he was a doctor in Cuba. And because of the language barrier when he came to the US, he had to go into air conditioning because he could no longer practice medicine. And so I said, this guy might be onto something. So I started Googling candida overgrowth, and there's so many symptoms, and I had so many of them. So I said, you know what? I like to eat all my white rice and bread and candy and cookies and cake and all those things. And I do everything in moderation, and I work out at the gym, but those poisons are not good for me. So I'm feeling so much better. And back to what you were saying, yeast infections.
Well, it just would seem that you would probably be running around in the back of your mind that you might be one of those 100 million, and me too, because of having that yeast situation.
Well, pre-diabetes, if nothing else.
Have you had your blood sugar taken?
Well, no, I haven't. But
yes. Have you had your blood sugar?
No, I haven't. But I don't have the main symptoms of diabetes. But I was scared, and that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, because I might have pre-diabetes, I was thinking, with all of these other symptoms that I do have. Yeah.
Well, there's some new information out. I know you've been garnering a lot of that. Tell us some of the new things that you've learned about diabetes in the last few weeks.
Well, one of the things you and I just talked about, which is amazing, but in the news just this week, it said, news flash, type 2 diabetes can be reversed. It's not a lifelong affliction, but you have to eat 600 calories a day for 8 weeks. And I thought, who can do that? Listen, if you're watching this, do not try that, okay? Check with your doctor, okay? But that's what was reported in the news. If you eat 600 calorie a day diet for 8 weeks, you can reverse type 2 diabetes. I think there has to be a less drastic way to do it. That's just me. I'm not a scientist or a doctor. But I also have some other things that were in the news that people might not know.
Yes, tell us.
Yeah, artificial sweeteners raise the risk of type 2 diabetes. And it was a small study, but they've said that artificial sweeteners cause weight gain. So it kind of stands to reason that when you gain weight, that's one of the reasons people get type 2 diabetes, because they're overweight. So that makes sense. And high levels of salt consumption may increase an adult's risk of developing diabetes. Who would have thought that salt, just a couple weeks ago, it said in an article, oh, salt is good for you. You should eat a lot of salt. You need salt. And then you hear, oh, but too much salt causes possible diabetes. So that was kind of interesting. And I thought that was a little bit, contradictory to what we keep hearing.
Right.
But it said that people with the highest salt intake, about 1.25 teaspoons of salt or higher. And that doesn't sound like that much salt to me. 1¼ teaspoons, really, of all the things you eat all day long. But
Right?
people with the highest salt intake were 72% more likely to develop type 2 diabetes than those with the lowest intake. 72%. That was like astronomical. I could not believe
It is
that number,
astronomical. Yay.
right? Do you have any
Yep.
more? Do you have any more of yours before I go on with mine? Or
Yes, well, I have a couple. One is problems in the bedroom. I think that's for our men
okay,
viewers. What do you think?
okay. Would you care to elaborate, or
I don't,
is it
I don't have
self-explanatory?
anything to elaborate.
Okay.
I just wrote it down. Okay.
Okay.
But a wound that does not heal, that's an indicator not only of cancer, but also now of diabetes. A
Well,
wound that does not heal.
yeah, you know what? I mean, that kind of reminds me to talk about diabetic foot, because people with diabetes are so susceptible to wounds in their feet and problems with their feet. And at some point, it can even lead to foot amputation. And in fact, I cover some really good points and tips. Like,
Yes,
for
you do.
example, the one thing you must do before you get a pedicure, that's so important, it's in the ebook. But yeah, and actually, it's funny you talk about that, because I was just researching a special kind of honey this morning that's really like medical grade for wound healing. It's called Manuka honey. So people can, yeah, you can look into that. It's expensive, but it's from a special bee in New Zealand that only pollinates a special tree called the Manuka tree. And it is supposed to be the finest honey for wound healing, for clearing up acne, for helping your insides if you eat it. Really exceptional. I'm looking into that too.
It is. And it can be very expensive if you go to your local vitamin store to get that. But if you go to Trader Joe's and get it, it's like $13 instead of 35.
That's amazing, but you got to make sure that you look for the UMF rating, not the GMO or whatever it is. It's got to be the UMF rating, because that's the official rating of the government of New Zealand. Okay, I'm going now. Okay.
Okay.
So scientists are saying that diabetes is caused by excess fat in the liver and pancreas. Okay. So that's the fatty liver syndrome, which people have heard about, but you think, I don't have that, right? But they reveal that even if sufferers have had it for years, that the condition can be brought under control by sensible eating. And I love this article, but it didn't say 600 calories a day for 8 weeks. This professor, Roy Taylor from Newcastle University, said, the good news for people with type 2 diabetes is our work shows that even if you've had the condition for 10 years, you're likely able to reduce it and reverse it by just getting a little fat out of the pancreas. And actually, this might be the same study that said 600 calories. I'm not sure, but
I think it is.
Yeah, so that's kind of big news, but it's also kind of hard to swallow news.
Well, a lot of people think that they get a fatty liver because they drink alcohol, not equating it to the food that they're eating, which is usually in excess. Excess calories produces this condition, and that's my understanding. Is that yours?
You know what? I don't really know that much about fatty liver. I have to really look more into that, because when I wrote the book, Diabetic Ultimate Beauty Guide, which we're going to talk about the special offer that we have on your website in a few moments. Yes. But when I wrote that book, there wasn't really that info out there about fatty liver and diabetes. So
I know, it's just in the last 2 weeks that things have just been popping out in the news, because it's a very serious condition. And something that I read said that most people think that diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is a no thing, right? But it's really a killer disease, and it can lead to heart failure, blindness, kidney disease. And you were talking about leg amputation. My grandfather had to have his leg amputated just above the knee. It was the most horrific thing to have to witness, because my grandfather was this vibrant man who had shot up insulin every day of his life for as long as I knew him, and then had to have his leg amputated as well.
Well, you know
So
what? That's why people are going to want to get this Diabetic Ultimate Beauty Guide, because there's so many helpful tips, things that they just didn't know. I have some more facts about diabetes that I was researching.
Go ahead.
We talked about when we first started today that type 2 diabetes in the U.S., 100 million U.S. adults suffering from diabetes or pre-diabetes, but you're not going to believe the figure globally. In 1980, there were around 108 million people with the disease in the whole world. That's as many as the U.S., right? And by 2014, this number had risen to 422 million people with type 2 diabetes globally. But I have some interesting news that just came out this week. We love our coffee. Okay. I'm a total coffee lover. I have written at least 30 articles about the benefits of coffee after researching online and reading the studies. And, people always say, oh, don't drink coffee and caffeine and all of the above, but coffee is good for you if your doctor says it's okay for you to have it. And most doctors don't say don't have it. But listen to this. 5 cups of coffee a day for type 2 diabetes. What? The World Health Organization has released guidelines for dietary recommendations for Americans for the year 2015 through 2020, in which they say 3 to 5 cups of coffee is associated with health benefits, including type 2 diabetes. And also WebMD reports that new research suggests that coffee and tea probably shouldn't be off limits because each may help prevent an early death. We always talk about the health benefits of coffee, but here's the thing. This little factoid only applies to women. So if you're a woman with diabetes, then 3 to 5 cups of coffee is associated with helping your health. But with men with diabetes, they don't seem to reap the rewards of drinking coffee in the new study. So sorry, men, but for women, yes. Okay, so it looks like we have a little bit of a technical problem with Cynthia Rowland. She's frozen. But some of the things you should do to combat diabetic hair loss, and one of these really important items in the ebook is the expiration dates of your cosmetics, because people don't realize that they are now more susceptible to bacteria and infections when they're diagnosed with diabetes. So the Diabetic Ultimate Beauty Guide is usually $5.99, but we're going to have it for $1.99, $1.99 on Cynthia Rowland's shop page at cynthiarowland.com. So that is something you will want to get yourself a copy of. If not for you, if you don't have diabetes, you may have pre-diabetes for somebody that you know, because everybody knows somebody with diabetes.
Yes. And the information in that Ultimate Diabetes Beauty Guide is for men and for women. It's not just women, because men have hair, men have toes, right? They have diets.
They have skin.
Yes, they have skin. It's good for everyone.
It's good.
And like Jackie said, yes, if you'll come to my website, cynthiarowland.com, go to the shop page and go to the skincare. That's where we felt it would be best to put it there in skincare, because diabetes sufferers have a problem, a real challenge with their skin. And we want you to know that we are there to take care of you, and Jackie's book will help you do that. And like she said, it's $1.99 instead of $5.99. I don't know how long that's going to last, so get your book today.
Right. Well, thank you so much. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful show, and I really appreciate you talking about the book. And it's the Ultimate Diabetic Beauty Guide at cynthiarowland.com under the shop skincare page.
Yes. And so go get it.
Go get it.
Now,
thank you.
A couple of things, Jackie Silver, I wanted to talk to you about, because you know how I love fanny packs, right?
Yes, you do. Hey, fanny packs are coming back in, I read.
I read that too. That's why I wanted to tell you that fanny packs are back. And I saw some online. Man, can they be really pricey? But they are so beautiful. But the Zoe report, and I think that's the Zoe who used to be, the makeup artist on The View. Can you remember her last name? Zoe, whatever.
Don't know.
Well, she writes a column every single day, and in her column, she was writing belt bags. And I'm just thinking, belt bags? What does she mean by? Well, there was a link to go see these beautiful, beautiful fanny packs, and I like that. Yes.
Do you have any pictures for us?
I don't have any pictures. No, but you can go on and find it. But did you miss not going to the New York Fashion Week?
Not in the least. Not in the least. I didn't miss it.
I was always a little jealous that you were doing that because you get to see so many different things there.
Well, okay, I got a little story about New York Fashion Week.
Okay, go right ahead.
One year, I went to New York Fashion Week for a number of years, and one year when I went to New York Fashion Week, I was invited backstage at the Betsy Johnson show, and I thought, oh, what a great opportunity. I'm really going to take advantage of that. There were all the models, very skinny, very too skinny models, and there was no food anywhere except for pink plastic plates filled with M&Ms. I kid you not. That was what was all backstage. That's it. Pink plastic plates filled with M&Ms.
Well, heck, I always like going to those things because there's usually great food and beverage around, but not that time. Well, here's what I learned that happened in the show this past week with New York Fashion, so that you can look for the new fashion coming. Oversized blazers. I have one, an oversized blazer. It's vintage. You'd probably hate it, but I love it.
I probably would.
White boots. When's the last time you wore white boots?
Never.
Okay. Well, they're in style this year.
Okay.
And everything red.
I love red. I agree with
that's
that.
hard for me. And all things pastel.
Okay, I like pastel.
Yes. And corduroy pants are back.
That takes me back to like 9 years old when my favorite pants were my corduroy pants.
There you have it. I thought that was kind of cool. And lavender is another color in this pastel.
Yeah, Pantone color.
Yeah.
Listen, speaking of fashion and colors, I have to comment on your gorgeous top.
Thank you.
I am crazy for that top. And I don't really like normally bejeweled things. You know how I am. I like more plain things. But with the cold shoulder and the jewels and the color popping, you look great. I love that top.
You know, we never talk about your website, Jackie Silver Style. You know why she named it that, right? Because this woman has style like you won't even believe. So when she gives me a compliment, I am like over the moon because it means a lot. It's like having, I don't know. It's a big thing to have a compliment like that.
Thank you.
And one more thing I have to tell you, Jackie, that I read this week that I know you're going to find very, very strange, but they've given a new name to a facelift that's about 20 years old. Okay?
The sewing
puppet.
Yeah, I saw the puppet facelift. I saw that. But you know what they did? You know what they did? First of all, people do facial magic, okay? It's natural. It works. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost $5,000. In fact, it costs like, I don't know, $100 or something, a little more. Yeah. Okay. Secondly,
one of my private clients from San Diego had the string facelift, which is the very same thing. Well, what they don't tell you in this article, but what I saw firsthand, is that these strings begin to elongate as your muscles lose firmness. Okay?
Oh, no.
Yes. And so I'm sitting in a meeting with another woman, not knowing that she had also had a string facelift. And she's picking at something down here on her face. And I'm going, what is she doing? Picking. And I swear, out came a string.
You are kidding me. Oh my gosh.
No, I am so serious. Somebody we both know, Jackie Silver. Okay, well, I'm not going to give any names,
Okay,
but
don't.
somebody we both know had that done. And when I worked with my private client, you could feel the strings in her face.
Oh,
I said,
wow.
how many strings do you think are in? And she said, maybe 30.
Wow. Okay, but I want to say one thing about the new procedure. I am not
Yes.
condoning it because I only condone facial magic. In fact, just as a side tip, my husband is at his 40-year high school reunion, and so we did facial magic quite a bit before he left for his reunion so that he could look really young in the pictures. He does it with me, and he loves it. He asks me, let's do the exercises so I can look young. But what I was going to say, one thing they did perfect better than the old string facelift is, at least now, the puppet facelift, the strings are absorbable. So I don't know how long that could last, but at least it's not stuck in your face.
Yes.
Right.
That was so freaky that day that happened. I just
Oh, that would
almost,
be weird to witness.
yeah.
Wow. I'm
Yeah,
dying to know who it is.
The new colors, the Pantone colors, oh, here they are. My favorite, grenadine red,
Oh,
of course.
yeah, of
Coral
course.
red,
Love
yes.
that.
And then autumn maple,
That
and
sounds
what was the other one? Hey, ballet slipper.
Oh, that's funny. Wait, what color would that be? Pink ballet slipper?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was like my toe shoes in ballet. Okay,
Oh, yeah, me
okay,
too. I love toe shoes.
so pretty. So anyway, this new season of clothing and colors, it's going to be dynamic, I think. And I like, you know me, I love fashion. I still wear my Marikas all the time, but I like to
Me
walk
too.
with them.
Right, we love our Marikas.
Yes, we do.
We want to be
And
comfy wumpy.
yes, we do. And here in Oklahoma, we thought it was going to be cool, so everybody was dragging out their sweaters. I even went out to the shopping mall one day, and here's everybody in their sweaters. I was wearing the sweater. And guess what? Now it's back into the 90s again.
Oh, wow.
So those
That's
sweaters
crazy.
are laying on the bed.
Right, right. Well, it's always in the 90s here.
Oh, I don't know how you do that. Well, we've had a great show today. Jackie, I just am so grateful that you took the time to write this the Diabetic Ultimate Beauty Guide for our listeners and viewers, because it's something that will help everybody.
Right, right. Well, I hope everybody will get it. It's a special right now, normally $5.99, now only $1.99. So just get on CynthiaRowland.com, go to the shop, go to the skincare, and get yourself, or someone that you know that has diabetes, get them a copy. It's an email download. It's not a hardcover book, FYI.
Right. It just right there. It comes right to your computer.
Right.
You know how we're always telling stories on each other and on ourselves about things that we do.
Now what?
Okay. Oh no, this is a good one. Okay. Have you tried your derma roller yet?
I haven't tried it yet. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's okay. I just want to alert people, if you use a derma roller, which I did a couple of nights ago, thinking, okay, this is good. I'm going to get my face all done for our show. Well, the next morning, I put on this glycolic cream moisturizer. Never have I danced around my bathroom so much with my face on fire.
Oh, no.
When you use this derma roller, it does get rid of these fine lines and wrinkles. But you've got to be very careful about what you put on the next day, because I didn't realize that a glycolic would have such an impact on my face.
Well, that's kind of one of the reasons why I haven't tried the derma roller yet, because I've been a little bit scared, actually.
So don't be afraid. It's the most wonderful thing. I'm going to do a video this next week on how to use your derma roller very successfully, and it keeps your face looking amazing. And what our friend Sharon Shelton, remember her, the esthetician from Long, she says it's that the principle of that is to make little injuries on your skin so that your body's defenses come to the rescue of those little pricks on your skin.
Okay, well, after I watch your video, I'm going to try it.
Okay, good. We're going to get that in the can this week. Is there anything else that you want to discuss today before we say goodbye?
Not really, just to say thank you so much. And, you know, I'm glad that everybody is, you know, recovering from the week's craziness, and let's just get back to normal.
Yes, and let's hope that Jose does not impact DC and
Oh,
New
yeah.
York.
Yeah, praying for them.
Yes. Well, anyway, everyone, we are so delighted that you joined us today. My great friend, my BFF, Jackie Silver, JackieSilverStyle.com. She has got it going on. Get her ultimate booklet from my website. You will be thrilled with the information that you get, and share it with those who may not have it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, from Cynthia and Jackie. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.